You're muted.
Muted. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I do it every week. How you doing,
Scott?
No,
it's usually me.
Oh, me too. I was muted. How's it going?
Good, man. What's going on?
Nothing much. How you feeling? I told the people you had, because one time on the air here, you had the hiccups.
I suck at the show like that, yeah.
Somehow you got, I remember it was not going well, but you and Bo Jackson have the same, that's one thing, what a thing to be in common with him.
Dude, let me just tell you this. Like I have told you before, twice a year, I get the hiccups that do not go away for at least 2 to 3 days. There's nothing I can do to get rid of them. I've tried it. Actually, one time I went to the emergency room because it was like 4 days and I was getting a little worried because my chest hurt pretty bad. And the doctor was like, "Oh my God, you mean to tell me you've had these things? You didn't come in. That's not good for you. That's not healthy." And I'm like, "Okay." He goes, "All right, I got to get this needle." Deathly afraid of him. Yeah, I got tattoos. They don't go like a quarter inch, half inch into your vein or anything like that when you get them done. Showed me the needle. Hiccups were gone, dude. Scared the shit out of me. And then he was like, "You better not be bullshitting me." That's what he said to me. "You better not be lying to me. You better not be bullshitting me." I'm like, "Dude, the hiccups are gone. Like, I'm here to get rid of them, and you just scared the shit out of me with that needle, so they're gone." Like, I could tell they weren't coming back,
Yeah, it's
what an ailment, huh?
Well, I'm glad you're back, man. I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, me too, buddy.
All right. So last week we were in the AFC North with John Suchan from Cleveland Browns. I forgot what's the name of that thing. The Fanatical Elf Network podcast and some other stuff up in Cleveland. Well, today we're staying there, Scott. We're staying in the AFC North, talking about the Steelers. And luckily we have a guy who is not only a fan, he covers them for the Pittsburgh Sports Desk podcast. Let me find him, bring him in. He's also I am lucky enough to co-host with him on Thursday nights, the Puckett thing, hockey podcast we do, and it's Bill. Hey, Bill.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thanks for having me, man.
How you doing, man?
Oh, thank you. Thanks for being here. We had to reach out because we had a Browns guy last week, and you guys are mortal enemies. It's like cats and dogs.
Yeah, it is. Well, how did that go? Let me ask you that.
Yeah, it went good. I mean, they are. It's interesting. The Browns fans are at least talking to him, and he covers them like you, and he's got a bunch of podcasts, and it seems like they're cautiously optimistic, though. Like they're 9 wins, yeah. So, but I'll tell you one thing they was very complimentary of the Steelers.
Yeah.
Saying like, "Oh my God, these guys are going to be good. They're coming from behind on us." All this other stuff. You can't. It's hard being a Browns fan and what to know about the quarterback.
Right.
Isn't he also? Didn't he come out this week and he's kind of starting to engage about it again? I read something the other day where he was engaging with reporters again about it, kind of standing his ground again. Yeah. I didn't read the whole quote, but it sounded like as if he was trying to go into the whole "I didn't do anything wrong" deal again.
He better be good or they're going to kill him.
He better be good this season or they're going to kill him. He'll be gone. Well, they still got to pay him. So that's the matter, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the Steelers. Enough on the Browns. Bill, let me ask you to start right from the beginning. Your draft. How did you feel about your draft? Are you happy with your selections and all that? Let me know. What'd you think?
Well, I tell you what, I was really happy with the draft. I mean, Kevin Colbert when he was there always drafted well, but now you got the Omar Khan there and Andy Weidel, and you had the, so to speak, the wrath of Khan, right? I mean, he did a hell of a job. I thought, of all the needs that we had, I think they addressed them all. I mean, you trade up to get Broderick Jones at number 14, which I think was definitely a good move. And then, you wait till the second round, and I couldn't believe it was available, but, you wait till second round to get cornerback Joey Porter Jr., Obviously, we know the whole, his dad played, the bloodlines. We know all about that. But, hey, he's a damn good corner. And then, I liked another one I liked was Darnell Washington. I mean, he's, from that Georgia team. He's a beast at tight end. And, he has good hands. And he can also block, and he's a great run blocker, which I think is going to be good. And I like Nick Herbig as well from Wisconsin, edge rusher. I thought that was a good pickup. And you can say the same thing about Keanu Benton from Wisconsin. So, I thought they were.
Yeah,
you guys always draft well.
Yeah, and you stayed in the Big Ten with a couple Georgia guys and all Big Ten, I think.
Right. Yep.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Herbig's going to be interesting. He's like a 4th round pick, and I remember him really giving Ohio State fits. So that's a good sign,
Yeah. Well, they tend to do good with Wisconsin guys. I don't know what it is,
right.
But go figure. But Herbig's I think is going to be good for him. Like I said, he's your prototypical edge rusher. But I really like the Broderick Jones pick. That was one that I said that there was leading up to the draft. There was a lot of talk like who do they take number 1? And I said, well, you got to address the line. And at the time, you had your top 4 linemen out there. Paris Johnson. You had Broderick Jones. The guy from Tennessee. His name's escaping me. Right.
Yep.
And I said, hey, Broderick to me is the guy I'd look at. He's the what a specimen. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see whether he starts. Because I know Dan Moore has held that position down, Dan Moore Jr. for the last 2 years. But hey, I don't think he's going to be, sitting on the bench. I know it was crazy because they said, doing OTAs and minicamp, Dan Moore took most of the snaps, but they said they moved him over to the right, and they said they plugged Broderick Jones in there. So, I think that when you look at it, I think that they may be kind of like, hey, it's anybody's job, and may the best man win in camp. But, hey, that's tough. That left side of the line, you got to have comfort there because they're protecting Kenny Pickett's blind side. So, they want to make sure, obviously, that he's going to be able to handle the job. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in camp here.
Did they? What free agents did they bring in?
So you brought Allen Robinson. Decent wideout. I think he's 33. And he's decent. I think that he's a little he's a little south of on the age wise where you want, but. He's still a guy that, he's not a separation guy, but he's one of those guys that's, he's a big body and he can make those contested combat catches, as Mike Tomlin likes to say. And then, you have you bring in Patrick Peterson, which I think is eventually going to be, a Hall of Famer. I think he has a shot of getting in the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure where that goes. Does he play corner? Do they, you see a lot of times corners, late in their careers, they move to safety. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't know whether they're going to put him at safety. I don't know. That's another question. Joey Porter. Is Joey Porter, like I said, I was surprised that he didn't come off the board on the first day,
Shocked.
Yeah. But too. I was shocked. And I remember that second day, the Steelers started off and he was available, and I'm like, this is a lock. I know what they're going to take him. But let's see what happens there. When he played at Penn State, he was a press corner, and Patrick Peterson. You got Patrick Peterson. You got Levi Wallace. They're the presumed starters. But you have Peterson working on the left, and you have Wallace on the right. But, I really think Porter has a good camp. I think he has a chance to figure himself into this mix. I really do. And like I said, there are already talks about Peterson, possibly moving to safety or even to the slot on some of these passing downs. So, we'll see what happens there. But
Bill, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Why? I guess I can understand the critiques from people when I hear how much everyone hates Matt Canada. And why are they sticking with him? Because it sounds like he's holding Pickett back. Like when I hear something, he's holding the offense back. He doesn't want to turn him loose or something.
You know what, Scott? I don't get it either. But the only thing that I can come up with, and we've talked about this at Continuum on my Wednesday show with the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. The only thing I can think of when you look at the second half of the season, they kind of gave Kenny Pickett a little bit more free reins. If you look at it, I mean, the first 5 games he got in there, he threw 8 interceptions, right? And then after the bye week, he came back and he only threw 1 interception. And I really think at that point in time, I think 2 things happened. I think number 1, they kind of opened up the playbook for Kenny Pickett. Number 2, they established a run game. If you look at that first half of the season before the bye week, they were not running the ball effectively. And it was
Najee
really
was
hard.
hurt, wasn't he?
Yeah, Najee was dealing with this Liz Frank injury, and that he kind of slowly got better from that. You look at that second half, they really ran the ball a lot better. And when you're able to do that, you eliminate those 3rd and longs, and you just you're able to open up the offense a little bit more. And I really think that's what happened. And another thing I think, do you really want to change offensive coordinators, with your starting quarterback going into a second year?
No way.
Yeah,
you don't want to do that to a young guy like that.
And that's another thing that I think that they took into consideration. Be it as it may, you're kind of stuck with Matt Canada. A lot of his criticisms, I think, are justified. Too many jet sweeps, not enough of offense that kind of caters to the talents of your guys, of your skill positions. And he's gotten a lot of criticism, and rightfully so. And let's face it, Scott. This is a guy who worked with Kenny Pickett at Pitt. I mean, so they have a little bit of a history. So you would think if anybody, he would be the guy that could kind of, set him up for success and not for failure. So, but like I said, that second half of the season, I think his play calling was better. And I think he kind of, like I said, took the reins off. I think they kind of had the reins on Kenny Pickett those first 5 starts. And I think after that, they kind of said, you know what? We see what this kid can do. Let's take the reins off. Let's kind of open up this playbook and just see what we can do with it. And honestly, I think he did a pretty good job. I
think he did great, man. I think you guys definitely knocked it out of the park with that draft pick. I think he's going to be good. I think you guys are kind of set up the way that Green Bay was set up. They went from I'm not saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer by any stretch. I'm just saying he's good. You can count on him. He shouldn't probably cost you many games, right? He shouldn't. He's grasped the NFL pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And he looks great.
Yeah.
I really like that. I like Pittsburgh this year. I really do. I'm a Bills fan, but I also like the Steelers. I don't mind the Steelers. Got a lot of friends here. They're Steelers fans. Yeah. I have so much respect for Mike Tomlin as a coach, the way he is with his players and what he's done.
Right.
That's why I don't root against him. Let's say.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Kenny. This is the year, man. He's got to prove it this year. You've got to prove it this year. It's put up or shut up time for him. Not to say that he didn't kind of prove himself last year, but this is the year where you're the guy. You're the guy going into this year. Last year it was Mitch Trubisky going in. You're the guy now. You're the guy that they've chose to pass the torch to, and it's your team now. And what are you going to do with it? And I think he's up for the task.
I think he is too.
Now, you brought up somebody, Scott, and I know you were going to ask this, so I'm going to ask it as a group for the both of us about Tomlin. Is there any time that Tomlin, or how do I put it? Does the fan base ever get frustrated with him at all? Because he's got an incredible regular season, we know. He's unreal. Is there ever a time where the Pittsburgh people, you hear the fans maybe wanting to go in another direction because maybe they feel stale, they feel like, or anything like that?
Well, yeah. My only gripe with Mike Tomlin's never had in his he took over for Cowher in 2006. He's never had a losing season. Okay,
that's amazing. Man.
It is amazing. I have 2 gripes with Mike Tomlin. First, they haven't won a playoff game since 2016, and that's the major gripe that I have with him. And like I said, they won. They reached the AFC Championship with wins against Miami and Kansas City in 2016. We all know that was back in the days of the Killer Bees and all that. when you look at Mike Tomlin, he's 163, 93-2. He's 8-9 in the postseason. Like I said, that's my main gripe is they haven't won a playoff game. We're going into basically 8 years of not having a playoff win. And you missed the playoffs. You missed the playoffs obviously last year. You went 9-7 and 9-7-1 in 2021. You lost the wild card round. You went 12-4 in 2020. You lost the wild card round. We all know that. I mean, what that debacle in Cleveland. You went 8-8. You missed the playoffs in 2019. You went 9-6-1. You missed the playoffs in 2018. 2017, 13-3. You lost the divisional round, and then 2016 you go 11-5, and you lost the conference championship, but you won 2 rounds. So, I want to see better results than that from Mike Tomlin. Now, you can say there's been a lot of things that have happened in that span of time. Also, you can say he's had until last year, he's had a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback his entire career. So I mean, he's got that going for him. But I'm going to tell you something else that a lot of people a lot of people overlook this, and it's really unheard of when you stop and think about it. But when you look at the amount of years that Mike Tomlin has coached, he has no coaching tree whatsoever. He has no coaching tree. And that's unheard of. Yeah, wow. I mean, when you look at it, there's really nobody.
That's weird.
That has
I never thought of that before.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't think of that. But you look at all the coaches, all the good coaches, they all have trees, right? Yeah. Right. I mean, Mike Holmgren had Andy Reid. The list goes on and on. Andy Reid had, you could just go on and on and on of all the good coaches that have had trees. And Mike Tomlin really hasn't had that. And I often wonder why. Why is that? Is it,
it's almost more impressive. You mean like people going out from under him and taking off? Is that what you mean? Or
yeah, right.
People aren't. Okay.
Yeah, like
people, that's weird.
Yeah, like coordinators going on to be head coaches. And, like normally when you look at his tree, like a lot of guys take a step back. It's crazy to say, but
I never even. That's a good point, man. I never even thought about that.
Either.
And when you have a coach that has never had a losing season in the last 17 years, that's kind of odd. That's kind of strange. And like I said, I kind of stop and think like, why is that? And the only thing I can really think of is that he's always kind of been the smartest guy in the room, right? I mean, he's always kind of.
I was just going to say, is he the one that's the be all end all over there? He must be.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not good, right? I mean, that's what that can be, that cannot be a good thing. But I don't know.
The team back, really, right?
Right.
Are you purposely going after guys? They're going to show you up or something like. I can't get into these guys' heads. I don't foresee him thinking like that.
Right.
But. People behind closed doors and in their heads, you have no idea what they're thinking.
Yeah. But I mean, he's going, he's good until 2024 in his contract. I think he's going to get an extension. I thought he was going to get extended before camp. But they didn't do that. So more than likely, I'm guessing Art Rooney is kind of waiting to see what they do this year. I don't foresee them not giving him an extension. I mean, he would have to have a monumental collapse this year for them not to give him an extension. And
you'd have 100 teams lining up to get him.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, and I mean, if he doesn't want a head coach, I mean, hell, he could be an analyst, and there are people that would hire him like that. So
he's got a great personality for that.
Yeah.
He does.
But yeah, I mean, those are my 2 gripes with him. The lack of playoff wins in the last, like I said, in the last 8 years, and he really has no coaching tree.
And we're with Bill Aikins of the Pittsburgh Sports Desk podcast, and that's on Wednesday nights, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Let me ask you, with the upcoming season, before I ask you a way too early predictions and stuff like that, what scares you for them? Like what could have, other than, let's take Pickett out of it. So obviously we know he's a young guy. He could have a bit. But beyond him, what is it in there, whether offense, defense, that is a big concern that might make them, finish under 500 or something?
Well, my biggest concern, there's a couple things. I mean, middle linebacker, I'm a little concerned with. You go out and you get in free agency, you go out and you get Cole Holcomb, and I think from Washington, and I think I like him. I think he's a great addition to them. But the guy's been banged up. I know he had foot surgery in December, and he was pretty much a bystander when it comes to OTAs and minicamp. Haven't really heard anything. I know they're in their second day of actually, no, I take that back. No, they're in their second day of practice. And as far as I have heard, he's been a full participant, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit concerned with that. But I tell you what, the number one concern I have, is they just didn't really. I didn't think they really surrounded Kenny with a lot of weapons in the offseason. We talk about another free agent I liked was Isaac Seumalo from Philadelphia. Obviously played on that team that went to the Super Bowl with the Eagles last year. And I think that was an Andy Weidel thing because Andy Weidel drafted him. And, now Andy Weidel's the assistant GM to Omar Khan now. So I think that was an Andy Weidel move. I like that. When you look at it, I mean, like I said, you get Robinson, but you really didn't go out and get many other weapons for Kenny Pickett. I would have liked to see.
Do they? I don't mean to interrupt you. I want to ask you. They're not usually big in free agency spending though, right? They don't really go after big time guys or anything, do they?
Not generally. Not generally, but I tell you what, they're aggressive this year. I mean, like I said, you look at Patrick Peterson, which, you lose Cam Sutton to Detroit. You needed somebody to replace Cam Sutton because that was a loss. It was a big time loss for them. And then you go out and sign Patrick Peterson. I like that. I liked it. He's a little bit on the little aging, but like I said, he's 33. He's a little, but I think he can still play a couple years. I think he can still play ball.
Good mentor for those young guys.
Right. And, like I said, you go out and you get Isaac Seumalo, you sign Allen Robinson. I think they were pretty aggressive in the offseason, but I would have liked to see some more, skill position. Like, I said it before, I would have loved for them to try to go after DeAndre Hopkins. I would have loved that, and they weren't even in the mix, really.
What, though, Matt? On that, DeAndre, I think that was just a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you. And the reason I say that is because, I got a big problem with him. He knew that he knew how much money he wanted. He drug all these fan bases through all that bullshit all off season. Yeah. I mean, seriously, you had what's his face on Pat McAfee's show. Oh, got Pac-Man Jones, who's friends with him, legit on there saying, he told me, it's either going to be KC or Buffalo. You're going to find out tomorrow. I mean, that shit was going on all the time. I hope he fails immensely over there because of what he did to this whole offseason. Because I liked him, and after I left a bad taste in my mouth what he did. I didn't care he didn't sign with Buffalo, but the way he did it,
And the funny thing is, though, with the media, is that they had to know those two teams, Kansas City and Buffalo, and you've seen them. They can't do anything else.
Can't afford them.
They have no money left.
And you're right. He went and visited Dallas. He went and visited New England. He went and visited Buffalo. He went and visited Kansas City. He went and visited all these teams. And then they're like, oh, well, he's just stopping at Tennessee just for formality purposes. Because Tennessee just wants to. And then I was shocked he ended up signing with them. I'm like,
I want to chase a ring. Dude, you know what? No, you don't. None of you guys do. It's all about this. Yeah. It's all about this.
He said, well, me and Vrabel had a relationship when I was in Houston. Vrabel coached in Houston there for a while. I'm like, that was like eons ago. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah, like and then Derrick Henry, you got Ryan Tannehill. I don't know. Ryan Tannehill is kind of like, you look at his stats. I mean, his quarterback rating's not bad. But I don't know. If I was him, I would have went to your Buffalo Bills, Scott. Honestly, I mean,
I just don't think they could. Once again,
I don't know how they would have done it.
Teams could have afforded him. Buffalo and Kansas City are just they're maxed out. Like there's nothing.
Out. Yeah,
I wanted them badly, but that's what I kept saying. I'm like, where When I saw that, I'll be honest with you. When I saw that cap room get cleared up with Diggs, I was like, holy shit, they're going to sign DeAndre Hopkins. They got enough money.
Right.
But I was like, I mean, they had enough money, but they obviously used it on someone else. And I knew they were going to need money for their, for signings and other stuff. But that's the only time that I perked up and thought it might happen, when I saw that. And then it just, within 24 hours, they did what they did with it. It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't like when those players do that stuff.
Yeah. All I'm saying, I would just like, that's what kind of worries me. I just don't think you have your second-year quarterback, and I just don't think he has enough offensive weapons. I mean, I think right now you're looking at George Pickens as your number one. The thing about it is, we talked about this on our podcast on Wednesday. When you look at like Deontay Johnson, that guy he has just separation speed like no other. But what do they call him? They call him Drops Johnson because he's just cannot squeeze the Charmin, cannot catch the football. I mean, he gets separation, but he can't catch the football. I mean, you look last year, didn't even have a touchdown. You look at George Pickens. Okay, he doesn't get the separation, but the guy can catch. I mean, the guy's he's one of them combat catches guys. Allen Robinson doesn't have the speed anymore, right? But he can catch. He can make those contested catches. Najee Harris. Jaylen Warren. I mean, it's basically been running back by committee. For them. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. Will they re-sign Najee? I don't know. I mean, it's Jaylen. I think has done just about as good as what Najee Harris has done. So I don't know. I just would have liked to see more weapons, more offensive skill position guys, surrounding Kenny Pickett than what they have right now. And that's one thing that worries me.
That's one thing they did in Buffalo that made me happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? They really that was like, and I'm not just saying it because I'm a fan of them. That's like the textbook of how you set a rookie quarterback up. Every team should follow that if you can.
And here's the thing: you've spent all your money on this defense. This defense is the highest money-wise spending defense in the damn league. Okay, and when you're in a league that kind of like we're kind of like in offensive, the offensive teams are kind of the ones that win, right? The Steelers have kind of went backwards. I just wish they would have spent a little bit more money on offense and not kind of put all their eggs in one basket when on defense. I just, especially with a second-year quarterback that really needs some offensive weapons to make his job easier.
Now, but I know I promised you 30 minutes, so I'm going to ask you now. I got I'm looking at the schedule, so but taking out the teams that you play every year, your division, it's like just so everyone knows, 49ers at home, the Rams at home, Jacksonville at home. I believe the Packers are at home.
Yeah.
Arizona, New England, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Then the Raiders, Houston, Indy, and Seattle. What do you think? Where are they? Do you got them like everyone? I don't know. We were talking last week with the guy from Cleveland, and we were going like 9-8. 10-7, something in that range. What are you thinking? What are you guys thinking down there?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's my exact prediction. Really is 10-7, 9-8. I like that you open up with the Niners at home as the first game. I think that's going to be a litmus test. I really want to see who's playing at left tackle because it's going to be if it's Broderick Jones, he's going to be going against. He's going to be going against Bosa all day, and I want to see that. I want to see that matchup. From what I understand, that's the 8th easiest. Steelers have the 8th easiest schedule in the league this year. To me, when I look at it, I mean, they're all winnable games, I think. I mean, I don't really – there's nothing really on there that really scares me. I mean, like I said, you got your usual AFC North opponents at home and away. You got the Cardinals at home. You got the Packers at home. You got the Jaguars. I guess the Jaguars, that might be
it's my team of the season this year, buddy.
Yeah, it might be tough. Patriots, I think, I don't know. We'll see what the new offensive coordinator up there, O'Brien, does with Mr. Mac Jones. The Niners, I mean, who's going to be? Is Brock Purdy going to be good for them? I mean,
fully healthy.
Yeah,
they're saying, starting, right?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And then you got the Titans, at home. Away, you got the Texans. I mean, I don't look at that as being too bad. You got the Colts. You got the Raiders. I know they always tend to struggle when on the road against the Raiders. You got the Rams and you got Seattle. I mean, like I said, I don't. To me, it's not that hard of a schedule. I'm going
really
with
good schedule.
Yeah, I'm going with 10-7. I think that's realistic.
What do you think? What do you think the Ravens or the Ravens are going to do this year? You think they're going to be in much competition? I myself don't think so.
Yeah.
It's tough to say. I mean, boy, I don't know. I mean, they added some guys. Obviously, you sign Odell Beckham, you sign Nelson Aguilar, you drafted Zay Flowers. I don't know. Lamar, is he going to stay healthy? I mean, that's another thing. I mean, it's
never does.
Yeah. I don't know.
How many games? I mean, like, how many games are they going to have OBJ for? That's the only reason I'm thinking these things for you. Is I'm like, you guys could easily steal 2 from them this season. Easily,
I think so. I mean, I'm with you, Scott. I don't think that the Ravens are as good as what everybody's making them out to be. I mean, they're all saying, "Oh, Lamar, the city was up in arms because it took so long to sign Lamar Jackson. He signs to his $260 million deal, and you sign Odell Beckham, Nelson Aguilar, and everything's just going to correct itself." I just don't see that. I don't know. I mean, it's. I honestly think the number one team, without a doubt, is the Bengals. I mean,
unless Joey's hurt, that might nag him off.
Yeah, I know. I know he got carted off with a calf strain. So I know that's. But Joe Burrow. I mean, I tell you what, you can't. Joe Cool is what I call him. I mean, that guy just seems. I love what they asked him. They said. They asked him. They said, "How long is the Bengals Super Bowl window going to remain open?" He goes, "The window's going to be open my whole career," he said. But I mean, that's a great answer. But I mean, hey, I mean, I think they're going to be really good this year. I picked them to win the division. As far as the Browns, I know you had your Browns guy on. On last week. I think the hiring of Jim Schwartz as your defensive coordinator and Bubba Ventrone, I think, he was a good, special teams coordinator. My whole thing with the Browns is, Deshaun Watson, I just don't know if that whole Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson, I just don't know if that's really a good fit. And I say that because when you look at it, Kevin Stefanski, he likes running those offenses that are dink and dunk, right? And when you look at Deshaun Watson, when he was in Houston, he was the exact opposite. He was throw bombs down the field type, and I just don't think that those two complement one another. So
I agree with that. Yeah. I could see there being a point where, if he plays well and they're still being held back, you know what I mean? If this is such a big year, I think, for them with Watson to see what is actually going on. Right. You might have made a good point. He may not be the guy. Right. I could see him getting fired. He could be on the hot seat pretty quick.
Yeah.
Wasn't he already?
Probably. Yeah. He didn't even start yet.
I mean, the Browns picked up, some good receivers, Elijah Moore and Marquise Goodwin, and then they, I know they drafted that. I think was Cedric Tillman.
Yes.
Yeah, and so, I don't know. I mean, I think the jury still is kind of out on what the Browns. I mean, I just I don't know. But like I said, that's been the one thing that I have noticed. I just don't think that that Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson marriage, if you will, is I just don't know if it's going to work out because, like I said, Kevin Stefanski, his philosophy is dink and dunk. It is not throw bombs down the field, and that's pretty much what Deshaun Watson has done his entire career. And I just,
how can you even compete in today's NFL if you're not throwing the ball? The dink and dunk doesn't work anymore. You got to put up 30 points a game, or else you're losing.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you're exactly right. So I don't know. I mean, we saw last year what Watson did. Now, I think he was rusty. I mean, the guy had played 400 and something days. I mean, I think he was rusty, but I just don't know. I'm not willing to just I don't know. It's hard for me to really get a prediction on the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, from the very beginning with the Browns, I always felt like Deshaun Watson didn't. I don't know. It's like he didn't fit for many reasons.
Right.
Because when he shows up, and I'm not even going to get into the off the field stuff was tough for everyone to have to deal with. I'm sure it just all felt like it was all very shoving him in a spot. I don't know. I think you made a good point. Stefanski might be he's going to take he's got to take the fall. And in a lot of ways, I kind of almost feel bad because of the fact that they brought Watson in like they did.
Yeah.
It was kind of it's a very abrupt situation when you got a guy like that.
Shoved him right down the throat, right?
Yeah. And then with everything he brings with him.
Yeah. Well, when you sign him to that deal, Jimmy Haslam just pissed off all the owners when he signed him to that deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they were just
they
were just, you just screwed. I mean, those owners were just like, we're really pissed at him for doing that. And
the last thing they ever wanted was guaranteed contracts.
Exactly. And I mean, I think the team that really was most upset was the Baltimore Ravens, right? I mean, they were like, "What the hell?"
Sure.
So
almost like they purposely screwed him or something, right?
Yeah. Another thing too with the Browns, you had that great 1-2 punch of Hunt and Chubb. Now you only have Chubb, and and
who did Hunt sign with? Is he signed?
No, he's still out there.
He's still out there. Yeah.
There's a lot of good
I
running
wonder if
backs
it's
out
still
there.
from what he did. I wonder if they're. I'm sure there's teams holding that against him still, obviously.
Yeah, maybe. But I just don't know. I was asked that the other day. Where are you going to rank? And I said, it's hard for me to. It's hard for me to put the Browns above the Steelers, and it's hard for me to put the Steelers above the Browns. Like I just don't know where. I guess if you want me to rank, I guess I would go Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers. I mean, I guess I would have to do that. But I just don't know. I mean, I just don't know.
I feel like the Ravens might win 6 games. I don't know. There's something about me that thinks that this could be the final time. Like maybe just unwrap because another guy, John Harbaugh, is still there. I mean, there's a stale team. I mean, you just feel stale. And I don't know. I got this feeling, man. 7 wins, 7-10. I don't know.
You're right.
And injuries and losses like they have every season. I mean, they go through it every season. It's the same thing.
Well, like I said, Lamar Jackson, with his style of play, I mean, you're not going to stay healthy, period. You are not going to stay healthy. I tell you, he's one hit away from getting seriously injured and missing a considerable amount of time. He's already missed a lot of time. But, and Huntley is not the answer there. I mean, he is,
great backup.
Yeah, good backup, but, I don't know that you can really win with him too much. I think he could, stop the gap for a little while, but you guys might be on to something on that, and that Odell Beckham signing, I just don't know if that's a good fit. I don't know if that's another good fit. Nelson Aguilar, I think maybe better, but OBJ is kind of just.
You wonder. Yeah, it's hard. How many times is a guy like him going to go to the well? Like he's going to go to another. Why would a contending team even really want him? Because I feel like you'd have to hold him in bubble wrap until December. You can't really. You don't want him to start this thing off on week 1 because it's not if, it's when, and if it's at the wrong time, what a waste. I don't know.
I mean, myself saying Nelson Aguilar, I don't think he's going to do. I don't think Nelson's contributed much. he hasn't contributed hardly anything the last couple of years. Myself, him, he's just a throwing player to me over there. I used to like him, and then he went to New England and just like disappeared. Yeah. I don't know if that was just the offensive play calling over there or the quarterback play or what, but I used to like Nelson Aguilar, and then he went to New England and just went into obscurity. That's why I don't expect him to do hardly anything with the Ravens. I'm looking at the stats right now. In the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons, when he was with Las Vegas, he had 8 touchdowns. Other than that, he's had 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns over the whole season. Yeah. 300 yards, 400 yards. It's like he's a role player, you know?
When I look at the Ravens, I guess the only sure thing you've got is you've got one of the best kickers ever to play the game in Justin Tucker. And I was just talking about that. We were just talking about that on my show the other day. He's so automatic. I mean, it's almost like when you need to, kick a field goal to win, and you're in a drive, and you got to drive, half the field. I mean, basically, all you're saying, hey, all we have to do is get across the 50-yard line, and we got a chance to win this. Indoors in a dome, you're probably like, hey, we can just get to the 50-yard line because he's hit a 66-yarder before.
Playing in Denver, what do? Get to the 40? You know what I mean?
I still can't get over double doink. So every time I hear kickers, I'm ready to bust my head off a wall with Cody Parkey. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
All right. I can't. All right. I'm going to let you go, Bill, because I know I've kept you now 42 minutes and I promised you 30. Where does everyone see you guys on Wednesdays?
So, we were on the page, and now that page has gotten taken down for some.
Let me say something real quick. I'm sorry, Bill. Yeah. We're a part of that too, the Let's Talk Sports Network. I'm sorry I didn't bring it up, but you were also a part of that.
Yeah.
The page is down?
Yeah, they took it down for some reason. I
don't know why. Didn't we just get on that like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. They just recently did it. They took my page down too. We had a page as Pittsburgh Sports Desk, and they just took it down. They discontinued it. So we're in the process. You're going to be able to find us on Twitter. We have a YouTube page. And we probably are going to have a Rumble page as well. But for right now, it's YouTube and Twitter.
Okay.
The Pittsburgh Sports Desk. So, yeah.
What time?
So we are 8 p.m. On Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. And then of course, and you allowed me to co-host with you. We do Puckett every what is that? Thursday at 9.
Thursday night. Yep.
All hockey. So it's
a lot of fun. Yep. So.
All right, Bill, I appreciate you, man, stepping in with us and
bringing
thanks
for having me, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll be bringing you back again because as this season goes on, and me and Scott, it never sleeps, man. The NFL just doesn't sleep. We're lucky for doing these shows.
Oh yeah, you always have content. That's what I say. You always have content.
At least by Friday at 5 o'clock, we'll have something to talk about for sure.
Yep. So.
All right, Bill, you take it easy.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep,
bye-bye. Well, there he is. There he goes. Bill Aikins, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk podcast. Find him YouTube right now and eventually Twitter. Yeah, they took down. I don't know why Facebook did this. They took away his Facebook page. We have our
Facebook did it.
Yeah, Facebook, and they took away the Let's Talk Sports thing, which was huge. They had over 24,000 followers and stuff.
Did they give them a reason? Did they ever say what the reason?
No, they won't. There's no reason. They've inquired. There's been no response. But that happened to me once, actually, with my private page.
Bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, absolutely, pig. All right, why don't we take a break real quick and come back? We got a few things we could talk about and then go home.
All right, brother.
All right, we'll be back in a minute.
Digits 988 can save a life. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides connection to free confidential support. There is hope. The Lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Scott, I got to ask you something. I was going to ask you last week, but I want to ask you now because I thought this was incredible. We were just talking about it. Josh Jacobs, Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, Kenyon Drake, they're all still out there, not on a team. They're all pretty damn, Leonard Fournette maybe a little light, maybe out of the least of the bunch, but still, I would take them if you needed somebody to run the ball in the end zone from the goal line. Then the running backs had that video. Remember they had a video call where it was almost like a running backs union. What are your thoughts on all this? The running backs maybe not being appreciated or what they're feeling or thinking. Oh, I think you're muted. Scott, you're muted.
Okay. I'll repeat what I said. I feel bad for them, and I'm going to tell you why. A perfect example is what they did in Chicago. You remember?
With who?
One running back? Name's escaping me. Say it and I'll remember.
Matt Forte?
Yes. They buried that dude. That dude had so many carries. He was pretty much that team for a couple of years. Am I wrong?
Yeah, and he caught the ball a lot too.
They ran that dude into the ground, and then and he knew it. I remember he had a contract dispute with them, and he knew it was. Did he try to lessen his carries?
There was all kinds.
But he saw what they were doing. They had a shitty quarterback, and they were just giving him the ball constantly. And he saw what they were doing to him. I don't remember if he worked it out, but it sucks. I feel bad for him because if you're good enough to be in the NFL, there's a good chance, high chance, you're going to end up on a shitty team if you're a high pick, right? So what does that mean? You go to a shitty team who's probably got a shitty quarterback. What do they always do? Run. Because you can't depend on the quarterback because he throws interceptions or he's just not up to speed yet. Run. And those guys make jack dirt. And they do for 5 years. And then by the time 5 years comes, it's almost like a car. They got so many miles on them, they don't want to pay them now because they pretty much burned them out and they push them out of the next team. It's not fair. It's not fair to those guys. There's no other position in the league that happens to.
No.
Nobody. The top offensive linemen, they get paid.
Yeah.
Top wide receivers, the top tight ends. Let's think about that. Every other position than running back gets a ton of money usually when they sign. When they're up at top tier, best guys. Not running backs.
Yeah. Josh Jacobs is good to be sitting out there. I mean, these guys are only like 28 years old too. Like I think
Barkley signed that deal with was that deal that great for him?
It was 1 year.
That was the money he wanted.
Was it like was it 11
bit or something, wasn't it? Like they want like
12 million, and then he got 2 million in a bonus or something.
Didn't you want like 18 or something like that? Yeah.
1 year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and you've got guys that are making there's rookie quarterbacks coming in making more money than that.
And look at some of the tight ends. I mean,
seriously. So the game has changed.
The two tight ends that were on our team, the teams we like, Cole Kmet, Dawson Knox. Those guys that's pretty high pay for them guys, and I don't know how much they really produce.
Yeah, we just drafted another one who hopefully is going to turn into he should be, by all accounts, he should be better than Dawson Knox.
Yeah, he should be.
We're going to have to pay that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Buffalo's chasing the Kansas City model, and I really would wish they weren't so open and obvious about it. They go after the catch, pass, and running back, just like Kansas City. They want the tight end that's as close to Kelsey as they can get. Dude, do your own thing, man. Just to beat that team, you don't have to be them. Yeah. I think sometimes they try to. I'd probably get laughed out of a room if I said it in front of them, but it seems like they're trying to be Kansas City so hard, and they're not. Josh makes more mistakes than Patrick Mahomes makes. Josh throws more interceptions and stupid passes than Mahomes does. So you're not going to get that.
And the whole damn league does it, though, in a lot of ways. There's so many that try to copy.
Buffalo's just really modeled after him, though. And I see them legit going out and doing it. Like, I see it.
Right.
I mean, Brandon Beane says it. That's the reason I get annoyed with it. Like, come on, dude. The guy is a once-in-a-lifetime talent. You're not going to see a lot of quarterbacks come out and do that. He walked into a beautiful situation with one of the greatest coaches in the league. They were just in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They had a great team. He had Kelsey. He had all those guys. He had Hill. He had them all already. So Who the fuck's going to lose it? If you don't go into that situation and succeed, you're terrible, dude.
Yeah.
Right? Because all you had to do is just throw the ball at them. Kelsey, play breaks down all the time. Just throw it at me. Hill, all you had to do is throw it down the field. You knew he'd get there before anybody else would.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not great because he really is. This past season, I thought he would fail with Tyreek Hill not there, and he played even better, and that impressed me. I give it up to Mahomes. He's fucking awesome, and I wish my quarterback made better decisions like he does sometimes, you know?
Well, another guy that I got a name that's still out there, he's supposedly going to the Jets, but let's see him sign a contract versus Dalvin Cook. I mean, these are good players. I mean, this running back thing is a mess. I would take him in a second.
He won't even play 10 games this season for the Jets.
You think injuries?
They're going to get hurt. He always gets hurt. Dalvin Cook's got a bad shoulder, man. He takes a bad hit, he's done for the year.
They're going to have to
spend your money. Let Aaron Rodgers take his pay cuts and all that happy horse shit that he's doing out there. I get it. Whatever. Dude's got more money than God. He don't need that money. So they make such a big deal about that shit. And I'm just like, listen, man, the Jets are lining up to be more and more the Washington Redskins of like 2012. I don't remember the year it was. Sean Payton actually said the exact same thing that I said. The Jets are looking like the Washington Redskins when I was with the Giants. He said that in his thing. Mm-hmm. I agreed 100%. I told you that too. They remind me of the Washington Redskins, what they did when they put that super team together. Oh, they won 7 games. They had Deion Sanders as quarterback.
Yeah.
Won 7 games, dude.
This is perfect, though. As a fan, I love that. You got to love it, though. All of this stuff going on. Let the Jets be good. It's just perfect. And then all this kind of talk from it's just.
You know he meant every word of what he said.
He did. He did. He meant every word. And Salah said back what he said. I love that. They play week 4. Or week 5. That's going to be good.
Awesome. Yeah.
So good for them, man.
You know what? Dude, I'm sorry. I just don't think Salah is a good head coach.
He may not be the guy.
That's what's going to screw them with Aaron there. I think it's going to fail, dude. It might start out okay. It's going to fail. I think it's going to fail.
It'll be interesting.
I don't mind Aaron Rodgers either. He made me I started to like him on that next show. I'm so done. I'm so over him. I know they got Quinn Williams, all them guys. I'm just telling you, dude, they're not going to be as good as they think they're going to be.
I'll tell you, the problem is that, and you know what this is. It's ESPN. It's the media just kills it all. They just bury you to the point where you can't.
They're doing it with the Jets. They're going to make everybody so sick of hearing about the Jets. Yeah. I've already been done with it before he even signed with the whole Greeny bullshit when he took over ESPN. And every show was, is he signing? Hey, Pat McAfee. Hey, Pat McAfee. And I'm just like, dude, hit a sports show, not a suck fest. Because that's all it is every day. That's all it was every day.
I know.
Aaron Rodgers, is he going to sign with the Jets Green? He's going to sign with the Jets. Dude, you look like a little girl up there, man. Come on, act like a guy. You're spawning all over this dude like he's the girl you lost out at in school. Jesus Christ.
Well, I agree. Yeah, no
I know
doubt
he's
about
excited,
that.
but don't you think it's a little out of control at this point? The fucking guy is on
unless he was on WFAN in New York, where that's what you do. You know how it is. You're on WGR, you can do that shit. Not on ESPN.
Did you see what he did a few weeks before? A few weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers. It was shared on Twitter. He's in New York now, dude. Posing RFK Jr., baby.
Oh, geez. Nice. Well,
can I ask you a question? Okay, I know we differ on politics and that, but
not much.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why do guys that are intelligent, like, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers, let's say, believe the shit that flows out of the mouth of somebody like RFK Jr.? Some of what RFK Jr. says is true. That guy's got a lot of bullshit, too.
Yeah. I don't know why this is just me. If I was those guys, and Derek Jeter, whatever you want to think of him, some people think he wasn't as good at whatever. One thing he did was he didn't get into it. He just put his head down. He played. He talked baseball.
Aaron Rodgers loves it.
What's that?
He loves it, relishes it. Rodgers loves it. He relishes it. He loves pissing people off.
Yeah. That's what he does.
He's in New York, dude. He can love it all he wants. That shit's different there. I hope they sour on him because of that stuff, if he does.
Well,
because I don't want him to do it.
He's not in Wisconsin anymore. So you're right.
I don't want him to
It's a
do
whole
it,
different
dude.
story.
You know what I mean? I like him as a player. Don't make me not like you as a person.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I would rather they never, ever. And I don't know why they do it, because you're just going to piss off half of the people. Just don't. It makes no sense to me. I would never in a million years, if I was one of those guys, come out strong for anybody.
Football. This is off of football, but somewhat close to the Raiders. I got to ask you this, dude. Out of all the people I would have ever thought to go somewhere and do an interview with this guy, these two people I did not expect. Tucker Carlson and fucking Ice Cube.
I saw
Ice Cube?
How funny.
Ice Cube, dude?
Yeah. I didn't see it.
I know what it is now. I've fully figured out what it is. It's because, and you know I hate fucking Trump, and I'll say it on here. I fucking hate that guy. He's a scourge of society. They only like him because they're billionaires, and they love them fucking tax cuts that screw everybody else over. I'm sorry. Nothing else makes sense to me on why they would like him other than the tax cuts that they get.
Well, no, through the years, through the years, I mean, that's what we've known, right? That's where usually.
That's what I mean. These people all have money. So when people like us get upset, how can they possibly like that guy? I'm like, dude, if I was a millionaire, I'd probably fucking like him too. Due to the fact that he makes it so I pay a quarter of the taxes I paid 3 years ago.
Right.
You know?
Athletes, man, and I hate to say this because then people say, "Oh, I shouldn't just shut up and dribble." I'm not saying that. I just don't know why you'd want to get into this mix.
Well, what makes them the point?
Yeah.
Or the point man on fucking politics and sports. Like, it doesn't belong. It just doesn't belong, man. The politicians don't like the sports. They talk shit about them all the time. They'll shut up and dribble stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah, I would never. I would never. It's not. They just don't mix. It's a terrible thing. Like I said, Jeter was unbelievable because they used to try to drag him in because the Yankees, Steinbrenners are Republicans. It's just what they are. They've been forever. And they used to try really hard with him, and he would never take the bait. I remember why. He just wouldn't. Even when he was young, he just wouldn't speak on that stuff. And he would say things like, "I'm a baseball player. I have nothing to,
Good on him, dude. And that's exactly what the response should be. Everybody's got their opinions. That's absolutely awesome. Seriously. But don't alienate. Well, what happened there? So this is a Scotty T podcast. John will be back in a minute. Did I go out or did you?
Well, we both did.
Did we? Oh, I saw myself. I didn't go anywhere. But but you know what I mean. There we go again, John. What's happening, dude?
All right. Why don't we wrap it up? We keep going out for some reason.
Is that you? Is that
it must be. I don't know what's happening.
We don't even talk politics anyway. I just hate that my favorite sports players, because I like Aaron Rodgers, dude. I really do. I like him as a player. I love watching the guy play. He's amazing. To do what he's doing at his age, it's phenomenal. Don't make me hate you.
I agree, and that's what happens. That was my point. Why would you want to do that as a?
I don't know. I've never understood that.
So that's right. They threw us. So look at that. They tried to end our show when we were talking politics, I think.
Oh,
see,
state.
Yeah. Let me say we're hoping we're gonna pre-record something with a guy from Minneapolis who covers the Vikings, WCCO. That'll be cool. So we'll talk about the Vikings, go to the NFC North, I guess. So we'll head over there hopefully next week. So Scott, what are you up to this weekend? Just gonna relax? Maybe some
Absolutely not. My daughter's away tonight, so my wife and I are gonna go out and go wild. I get wild. I'll be in bed by fucking 10:30, but anyway.
Nice.
Because I'm old, I get up at 5 a.m. But we're going to see a band tomorrow. Taking my daughter to a concert tomorrow.
Cool.
Taking her to see. I figured I'd try to find a concert that she wouldn't get. I didn't want to fucking have these people leave their mark on my kid who would never want to go see a concert ever again because of the chaos people cause there. So I got a bunch of free tickets from a guy I work with. Next time I will give them away on here. I didn't even think of it. I could have brought more viewers over here. I gave away like $1,000 in concert tickets yesterday.
Oh, wow.
I gave away 4 tickets to the Foreigner show that's tonight. I'm going to the Darien Lake show tomorrow. It's all Darien Lake. And then I gave away 4 tickets for the Willie Nelson concert on Sunday. Outlaw with Government Mule and all those guys. I should have did it on here. My wife yelled at me after I did it, and she was like, "You should have put it on your podcast." I will next time. But we're going to see Culture Club. That's not who I'm really going to see. They're the main act, but I want to see Howard Jones in Berlin because I'm an 80s guy and I love the 80s.
Well, nice.
And that's who's opening it up. So we're going to that tomorrow.
Berlin, take my breath away, right?
There it is. You guys. Oh my God.
Howard Jones is the one I want to see. I've been wanting to see that guy forever, and I'm glad he's coming.
That's cool. All right. Well, have a good time, man. I know what I'm doing. Nothing. Nothing.
Not his balls. I'm probably going to die tomorrow, but
I know. It's supposed to be nicer, though. I think, though, we're supposed to get it cooler. It's supposed to be like 77 and 74 on Sunday. So
I'll take that. This humidity's ridiculous.
All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here. Scott, take it easy. We'll be back next week.
You know it.
Good night. Take care, everybody.